All right. Good morning, everybody. Let me get my tea. Oh, I should make sure my volume is up. I never do that. I don't know why. You think I'd learn by now. Anyway, good morning and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune. This is Friday, the 29th of June. I'm sorry I wasn't here yesterday. We had a heat pump guy come and look at why I no longer had any air conditioning. And our heat pump is like 21 years old, so we're getting a new heat pump. I don't know if it's, the holidays next week, so I doubt if we get it, it might be Friday, but it could be the following week. But pretty soon we're going to get a new heat pump, which will be nice. So it's just, I guess the new refrigerant, there just isn't, at the end of this year, they're not going to make it anymore. So that's the kind of heat pump we have. So we could put a whole lot more money into it, but we've already done that before. So I think it's just time to, let it go on into, wherever they're going to take it. I don't care. I just want a new heat pump because I need air conditioning, I'm in my crone years, folks. Got to have air. Anyway, well, let me take a sip of tea. So, let's go ahead and shuffle the cards. And, it would be lovely if we did not get a court card today. It would be nice if it could just simply be about some inner work, that we all have to do. So, instead of all of this political stuff that's going on that is so upsetting, at least to me. So. I just don't think that life needs to be this complicated. I think that we tend to make it that way. Hence the inner work that tarot offers and runes offer, so that we realign in our own source presence and remember why we're here, We're not here to work our way back to source or creator or God or, whatever you happen to call all that is, because we are all that is. We just need to remember that. We just need to wake up and understand that we are the creator personified. You can think of it that way. You could think of it as simply aspects of the creator, each and everything in the universe, whether it's humans or other people out there, or inanimate objects or anything we create. It's all an aspect of the creator striving to know more about what life in tangible form is all about. So it really is a remembrance that we're all trying to achieve here. It's not about doing good works so that you'll, get a better place in line. It's not about that. Experience life the way you do. We make the choice to either have a self-focus, Law of One calls that service to self, or service to others. And the neat thing about the service to others is it also takes care of you in the process. When it's service to others, it recognizes and appreciates the greater unified presence of everyone. Collectively, when we're not in body, we're all one. We're all one energy. Again, aspected out because we've not all folded back into the creator. So there's a esoteric text called the or section in a text called the stanzas of Dizan or something or other. Anyway, I don't know how to pronounce it. And what's really cool about that is the way it talks about creation coming into form. It's about the Great Mother, and the Great Mother, on the out breath as she exhales out, she breathes out the universe. And while it's there, while the universe exists, we're in that resting point, of the Great Mother's breath. And then when she draws her breath back in, that's when we all fold back into the Great Mother and start all over again. But that's not about an individual lifetime. That's about, the lifetime that she wants to have. So, it's sort of a forever thing in our estimation. But I just thought that was just a really beautiful way to kind of explain and describe what all of this is, how we, instead of the Big Bang, it's just the Great Mother, breathing life into existence. And we await the return in the Great Mother's breath. So I like that one. So I better put my glasses on or I won't be able to see a thing. I don't need them for other than reading, but it does help when I'm trying to see something. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so not a court card. And I actually really like this. I like the Suit of Swords. I'm a Libra, so I'm an air sign. And so Swords is kind of my sign. It's about communication and the mental presence or our intellectual presence in the world. And this is the Eight of Swords. And here we see a woman who is bound. She's not only bound, but she's got a blindfold on. She's got a lot of swords behind her stuck into the ground. She's clearly at the coastline there. There's a mountain, sort of like a mountain. It looks like I'm looking at this backwards here in the screen. Yeah, there's a castle on the hill back there. So she's got her back turned to basically her life, and she's got a lot of stuff coming in on her. Usually the focus when the swords are pointing downward, I look upon that as the focus into form. So you're focusing on ego. She's not letting, it would be tempting to think that spirit is coming into, but it's not, because she's bound and she can't see it. Even if that's true, she can't see it. She's so wrapped up in what's going on in her life and in her thought patterns that she can't see anything else. She's just bound by her own thought processes. So, maybe there's just a lot coming in on us right now. Maybe we're just having trouble sorting out our thoughts. There's a lot of troubling things going on right now. A lot of interference. It could be outside obstruction, but we could be obstructing our own internal process. Typically, that's what this is. It's telling us, that we might be tempted toward just getting stuck there and experiencing some indecision. So you want to make sure you don't do that. But see, when we're bound like this, there's always the potential for liberation, right? You can always become unbound by the choices that you make. Sometimes this is just about make a decision. Although sometimes the Two of Swords really is kind of about that. But also the other thing too about this castle in the distance, what we're doing also when we turn our focus away from the structure of our lives. So maybe we're not paying attention to home, maybe we're not paying attention to family, maybe we're so wrapped up in our own misery and our own grief that we're just not, maybe our thoughts are ruminating. Again, this is about a really narrow, I don't want to see anything focus. So, yeah, I would, be thinking about if that's playing out in your life where maybe you're having trouble making decisions or there's just too much coming in on you and you can't think clearly. The weekend's coming up, maybe you can just sit back and take a little extra time for yourself and sort some things out. Or this could simply be about the next SCOTUS pick and the threat toward abortion rights. I don't know. Kind of feels like that too. That would be your outer focus, wouldn't it? So, women, you know, this was settled law a long time ago. Women have a right to make their choices about what they want to do with their own bodies. No one else has that right to tell us anything. We just need to have safe access to all that kind of stuff, right? If that's the choice we want to make. You don't want to make that choice? Fine. But the idea is choice. So we have Degas. Now, interesting thing about Degas. Some people put that as the last rune of the Elder Futhark. And in a sense, it kind of is. Because when you think about tarot's major, talking about the journey, the soul's journey through form, essentially. Well, with runes, you're doing the same thing. You just don't have all the small cards. You know, you don't have all those other cards and the court cards to deal with. You just have 24 runes in this particular situation. So, and basically, I need to move around here. Basically, the last rune of the Elder Futhark is Othala, or Othala. And it's said to contain all of the runes within. So that actually does make a fitting end for the Elder Futhark. But the nice part about Degas, well, and Othala, see, what that means is ancestral homeland. It means the Akashic record. You know, it's not just ancestry, you know. So for me, I kind of struggled with it for a long time. I put it as the 23rd rune and put Degas as the last one because Degas is about enlightenment. And the thing about Degas that I like is that you've got Gebo in the middle, which is balanced energy exchange. And one of the interpretations of Degas is energy that comes into its end. See there in the middle. It comes into its end, it compresses and then expands out into something new. And so you've got Kenaz contained within it. You've got Gebo contained within it. Part of Manaz is contained within it. So it basically talks about everything, really. Humankind. But basically, Degas is about enlightenment. So that's why I say that a lot of people think that this should really be at the end of the Futhark, because the goal is enlightenment and remembrance, right? And really, that's what we're talking about here. We need to let go of this, let go of whatever is constraining us, and move toward that knowing and that awareness. You know, we all have that inner knowing, and we all know when something isn't right. But with Degas, you know, we're talking about a water element rune, a conclusion and to opening to a new beginning, the creative force, daylight. Oh, I know, I wrote this down, and I don't remember where I got this. I don't know if it was Tyriel's book or who wrote this one, but energy at its saturation becomes its opposite. And I like to think about that. I don't know why. Well, I'm an empath, so that's probably why, but I like the idea of feeling that flow. This is a water element rune, so it's about flow. And clearly we're flowing from one state to another. And this woman here needs to flow from one state to another, right? And she needs to get clear. And that's really what this is about. We need to, whether this is in our personal life or whether we're talking about what's happening in our country, we need to not have our eyes all covered. We need to not be bound by our grief and our intellect. We need to be focused. We need to be aware. We need to be paying attention, whether it's in our personal life or to what's going on in the world. So that's kind of interesting. This also can indicate the idea of moving from one phase to another. It can also indicate an attitude change. And that's maybe what we're going to see here. Excuse me. Pollen counts high today. We're seeing her on, hopefully, you know, she isn't just going to stay like this. She's on the precipice of something else. And so that's kind of cool that I pulled Degas for the rune. So maybe we're on the precipice of something better. I don't know. I'm not really thinking so, but maybe. The other thing, it's so much fun, isn't it, when people that are abusive then want to define how their victims are supposed to react. Um, Actually, a couple things. This whole thing about civility. I was going to write something about it, and I thought, nah. Uh, yeah, when they go low, we go high, sure. But there comes a point where when our rights are being taken away from us, when we are being demeaned at every turn, when lies are being told constantly, you got to get up and scream. And so sorry about that. I don't really subscribe to this whole thing that you're going to turn a blind eye to stuff. I really don't. Or turn the other cheek necessarily. I think sometimes you got to stand up and you got to say what you want and you got to say what you believe in. And I think that you know okay, maybe a restaurant owner can ask someone to leave because it's upsetting everybody. This is a very difficult time for a lot of people. They really feel like our country is slipping away from us. And when that happens, then our safety and security slips away from us. Um, so let's not focus so much on what your victim does back to you. Because in this country, we have the First Amendment. So, yeah, we can come up to someone in politics and say, hey, we don't like what you're doing. Now, you can argue about where you do that or how appropriate any of it is, I suppose, but that's the country we live in. We can write letters that get no response or get canned responses, or we can walk up to a politician or somebody in their administration and say, hey, we don't like this. Okay. That can happen here in this country. As long as it doesn't, no one puts their hands on anybody, long as no one blocks anybody from going anywhere, as long as you don't do anything that prevents that person from going anywhere, you can pretty much walk up to someone and say what you want. Don't harass, don't swear, don't, but state your business if that's what you want to do. You can't really be arrested for that unless you've got a TRO on you or something, So this administration and the folks that work there, they're just going to have to understand that this is a very upsetting time for people, and they can't define how we express that. Not when the president, if that's what we're calling him these days, can go to a rally and talk and point to the back of the room at the press and say that's the enemy of the country. Then yesterday we see 4 journalists be shot dead. Now, did that motivate it? I don't know. But my God, can we just all stop? Just stop. Just stop. Enough already. So we need to move into a more enlightened place, don't we? So hopefully we do that. Hopefully, I just think that every day it's more, isn't it? It's just more to have to deal with and look at and contend with. And now 4 journalists are dead. So how much of that is being spurred on by who's occupying the White House? We've never had this, guys. We've never had this. And this is not the change we need. To think that our government can't use a good going through, sure it can. Any government can. We can talk about the bloated government and all of that as he continues to fill the swamp with his friends or with people who have an agenda that seem to concern only a chosen few. So I don't know what everybody thought was going to happen, but what's been happening just isn't good. So let's not become so caught up in the minutia that we can't see this bigger picture of what's really going on to all of us. And I know it's easy to respond to all the little antics that get pulled, but see the bigger picture. And if you're going through that in your own personal life, then try to see the bigger picture there too, and not get caught up in all the little things that can really keep us stuck in that little spot. And then we never progress anywhere. We never move anywhere. we never expand our horizons, we never expand our thoughts, we just can't see anything else. Um, so if that's happening for you, or if it is what's going on in the world, that's going to take a while. But inside, we can at least work on how we process all of it, because frankly, it is a little too much, don't you think? So I'm not here on the weekends. I take those off. So we'll see you on Monday. And I don't think it's the 4th. If it's the 4th, I'm not even sure what day it is. Well, it's the 29th. So today's, so 30th, 1st. So, no, it's not the 4th. So, okay, I will be back on Monday. Try to have a lovely weekend. Get outside, walk around, take your shoes off, do some earthing in the grass. It's a wonderful way to reconnect with nature and get your whole chakras aligned. Sit down, maybe you're back up against a tree, and just do a sitting meditation. Just sit quietly. Don't think about anything. Just listen to the sounds of nature as they sing their song of love to you. So have a lovely weekend, and we'll see you Monday. Blessed be.